Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
But I understand now. I need to get a little bit more information. So, you want to talk to Robin in DC about hard versus soft?
Oh, here we go.
No, I don't really. Oh, okay.
No.
Hello.
Go ahead. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Robin.
I'm
You're on with
calling.
Jenna and Jim.
Hello, Jenna. Hello, Jim. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Pretty good.
So I want to start by asking you guys a question. And would you? The question is, would you consider yourself a hard atheist, or would you consider yourself a soft atheist? I'm sure you guys know the difference.
Depends on how you define them.
So would you consider yourself someone who actively denies the existence of God, or as someone who merely withholds belief?
This is not going to go well. These guys are gonna freak out.
I guess I am somebody who simply is not convinced that there is a God. I am under the impression that there probably isn't, but I can't prove it, so I'm just at like 99%.
Well, I'm going to provide a definition. I'm going to provide a definition of God that we could work with for the context of this discussion, and then we could. The point is that I want to get to is that if we're talking about God as that which is the fundamental personal cause and grounds of all of reality, then there is no neutrality when it comes to belief in such a being. One will either affirm his one will either affirm his existence, or they will deny his existence.
So
no.
It sounds like my position is that kind of neutral, somewhere in between.
Yeah, there's always a neutral position. There's always the I don't know position.
Right.
Always.
But okay. But the thing is, what I want to explain is that when it comes to certain categories of things, okay, then a neutral position cannot be maintained. So I'm going to give it.
So hold on, real quick. Just real quick.
Who's that calling in?
Do I have?
Okay.
This is a full deck except for the two jokers. Do I have an odd number or even number of cards in my hand right now?
That's exactly what I said. 30 seconds ago. Depending on the category, right?
No. Answer the question, please. Do I have an odd number or an even number?
Robin, please work with us.
Do I have an odd number or an even number of cards in my hand?
I already know. Yes. I'm familiar
we're
with
doing it for the show. Please.
And that's a position that you claim. Okay.
Right. I don't know. That is always. I don't know. Always the third position. There's always a third position. There is no category.
I understand that.
So you agree there is no category.
That atheists make. But
this is not a claim. This is no.
This guy hasn't studied modal logic. He's so retarded. You could be neutral about contingency, not necessities. Be like, you see, I got a, even or odd deck.
You know the approach I would have taken in this situation? I would have just answered the question and would have let him run his head into a wall. It would have been like, that works for that, except for the fact that it's the wrong category. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, it's a category error.
No. This is not a claim that atheists make. This is a claim that philosophers make. This is in all of philosophy, which where there are no categories. No. All philosophers, atheists or theists, it doesn't matter. All philosophy. It is a philosophical concept across all philosophy, not just atheist philosophy.
Okay.
Sorry.
This guy's an idiot.
That's fine. Again, that's not really important because what I'm going to do, at least what I want.
It's not important. Yes, it is, because you're going to try and prove that there is no third position, and I'm telling you there is always a third position.
No. I'm closed-minded. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Okay, because I'm all-knowing. Okay. You can be neutral. You could be neutral about everything. You could be neutral about whether you're dead or alive. You realize that? Everything, you could be neutral about everything, including being alive or dead. You see, there's always, I could say, if someone says to me, Jim Barrows, are you dead or alive? You see, I could say I don't know.
Would you like to hear the argument, and then you can? Would you like to hear the argument? Would you like to hear the argument, and then you can give a rebuttal after I give the argument to you?
Do it in 30 seconds or less.
Do it in 30 seconds or less, so we can just ramrod and rabbit trail you away, okay? Because my Big Macs are getting cold.
This would be beneficial.
Go.
Well, I'll
do it.
God first.
Go. Do it. Because my Big Macs are getting cold.
Great. I'll define God first. So God would be the personal cause and ground.
Look, do you see the expression on his face? He's absolutely in disgust. Okay? Oh, he's here. Let me play that back. He's in absolute disgust. Watch.
Is this happening live?
This would be beneficial.
Go.
Well, I'll
do it.
Go.
Great.
Go.
I'll define God first. So God would be the personal cause and
Go! Go! He's trying to get his point across. Go! This is priceless.
Try and prove that there is no third position, and I'm telling you, there is always a third position.
Would you like to hear the argument, and then you can? Would you like to hear the argument? Would you like to hear the argument, and then you can give a rebuttal after I give the argument to you?
Do it in 30 seconds or less.
Go.
This would be beneficial.
Go.
Well, I'll
do
define
it.
God first. Great. I'll define God first. So God would be the personal cause and ground.
No. Explain the category that you. No. Explain the category.
Well, we don't have all day here. My Big Macs are getting cold. You need to get to your point.
He was just about to define God for him. Now he doesn't want him to define it.
You see what a-holes these people are?
I don't know position. Explain the category.
Jim, hey, Jim Barrows. Let me ask you this: can someone be neutral about whether they're dead or alive? Jim, are you alive? You can be neutral about anything. So someone says, "Are you dead or alive, Jim?" Well, I don't know if I'm dead or alive. I'm neutral about whether I'm dead or alive. You see, you can be neutral about everything.
Darth, look at DMs. Look at DMs. That's him right now.
Look at my DM. Hold on a second.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he does like that. You can be neutral about everything. If somebody says, "Does something at all exist?" Well, I don't know. I'm neutral about whether something exists because you can be neutral about everything.
Yeah, he can be
FPK mic test.
You see what a moron? You see what a moron this guy is? He's a talking head on the show, and he's a moron.
Yes, God is in the category of that which is the fundamental, necessary cause and grounds of all temporal states of affairs. Okay, so when we're talking about gumballs in a jar or coins in my hand,
now notice the immediate, instantaneous, knee-jerk reaction. Prove it. All J. Robin is doing is laying down a definition to say that this entity, as defined, you can't be neutral toward it. Okay? Notice that they do not have the ability to focus like adults. This is why I say atheists are teenagers trapped in adult bodies. Okay? Okay? Yep. He's not arguing at this juncture that God exists. He's simply talking about God in a thought experiment definitionally, and why you cannot be neutral toward God, why you could be neutral toward other things. And he's talking. This is what they do. This is what imbeciles they are. All right.
Prove your claim. Prove your claim.
I haven't. Right. So I haven't made a claim. I've defined a term.
Yes,
so
you did.
Things. Definition.
You see how brain dead these atheists are?
Yeah.
He's simply defining God for the purposes of discussing the concept. Prove it. Oh, yes, you did. You did. You're saying there's a God.
Definitions and claims. No.
Yes,
listen,
you made a
claim. He's claiming there's God.
You see why they just railroad? They cannot. They don't have the maturity and the capacity to listen and to have an adult interaction.
Now,
These are
Just calling this guy fat.
These are some of the dumbest people I've ever seen.
Hey, hold on a second. What did you just say?
Who, me?
No, somebody, the other guy.
Oh, hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you just said that something
no
about
way.
fat.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, no
Looks like I
way?
got
You've
my
been
mic
making
working.
remarks the whole time.
Yeah, you just said I called the guy fat. Okay, yeah, so.
Oh, I thought you guys couldn't hear me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Then why
we
would you
can
be
hear
talking? That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with you criticizing.
It's really weird
See,
if I'm commenting.
we're not, listen, see, here's the thing. We're not like talking head moron atheist talk show hosts. Because you see, we have balls, we can handle criticism. Okay. We don't try to railroad people when they object to us, right? For putting on a dog and pony show.
So is it would you be okay with me criticizing you right now?
Yes.
All right. So you're basically
Can you stop
like,
for a second? Can you just stop for a second? Okay.
All right,
There are a number of people that are in the room that are regulars who see me interact all the time.
Yes.
Okay. Now, for all the regulars in here, true or false, do I regularly permit people to criticize me as long as they don't cross certain boundaries, being gratuitously obscene or to be slanderous? Do I allow people to criticize me?
True. Definitely true.
Yeah. Do I welcome people criticizing my thinking?
Is Hillary Clinton ugly?
Yeah, I welcome it. So go ahead. You're free to criticize as long as you're not obscene or slanderous. So go ahead.
All right. Well, I would say my criticism of you right now is basically you're just ad hominem attacking this guy. Like you're basically saying like he's a child, he's fat.
That's not what an ad hominem is. An ad hominem is when you merely personally insult it.
That is a definition of ad hominem.
Please, okay.
No, it's
whoa.
not.
Ad
It's when you,
Listen,
no,
shut
it's not.
up. Everybody be quiet. I'm making a point of moderation, okay? I do not appreciate the other people over talking Happy. I do not agree with Happy, but I do not think that it is appropriate that we talk over him and dogpile, okay? So go ahead, Happy.
All right. So basically, I would say that this is ad hominem because you're basically using this, your like his looks. He looks like a cartoon character, and you're basically using that as a point to say like that this guy's an idiot and a child. And honestly,
that's not what an ad hominem is.
Yes,
Okay,
that is what an ad
actually,
is.
The formal definition.
An ad hominem.
All right,
the formal definition is an argument on the perceived failings of the adversary.
Hey, sola fide, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can speak for myself, okay? Thank you. All right, so I partially agree with you. Did I reference his eating habits? Yes, I did. Did I suggest that he was wrong in what he said because he likes Big Macs? Okay. No, I didn't. Okay. Now, an ad hominem is not an insult, making fun of somebody. Okay. An ad hominem is where we say that what they're propositionally invoking is wrong because of some deemed character deficiency. Okay?
Yes, and I'm arguing that you did this.
Okay. And how did I do that?
You called him immature. You called him immature and a child. You said all atheists.
I'm describing. I didn't say that he was propositionally wrong because they act like immature children. I simply make a commentary that they act like immature children. Okay.
All right. And
the only thing I said that he was propositionally wrong about, the only thing so far, was that you can be neutral about everything. All right. Well, listen, I got to go to dinner. We're gonna resume with Captain Big Mac and his girlfriend when I get back from dinner. Is that okay with everybody? All right. All right, I'm going to dinner. I'll be back on in an hour and a half, and then we can resume with Captain Big Mac. We were reviewing this earlier while it was live. Do me a favor.
You went through boot camp. You went through boot camp before you got to this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So listen. If you're going to call in, please let us know so that we can watch live. Okay.
All right, no problem.
I'm listening. I mean, you haven't done anything wrong, and this guy is about ready to have an aneurysm. You know, he just he goes, "You have 30 seconds, go."
Yeah, he was trying to put on a facade of bravado to try to impress Jenna Belk, but you know it didn't really work. Actually,
no. Listen, please pronounce it's Jenna Belch. Jenna Belch. Okay,
that's right.
No. Here you
How
gave
dare
it a
you,
bit.
cad? Show the proper.
I reject your definition. See, this is their whole bag of shtick. It's just contrarianism. Just whatever somebody says, I don't accept that.
In other words, he's just refusing to talk to you. If someone doesn't accept your description of the concepts that you're talking about, they're just refusing to talk to you at that point.
Oh gosh! All right, here we go.
They're saying I refuse to talk about the concept that you've described. I refuse to talk about that concept.
Look on the screen right now. Look at him. He took his glasses off. And I'm just saying, right before you got here, that you're being polite. You're not being rude. You're just simply being mildly assertive. Can I please get my point across? And he's getting frustrated, right? I mean, this is the mind of a child, a very heavy child.
When you invoke facts, when you reference any state of affairs, you say, I have a pencil in my hand. Do you do this? When you do this, do you acknowledge God as he's been defined for their intelligence?
I don't
see. Here's the problem. Okay. There was nothing wrong in what you said, but it's too complicated for them. Everything has to be dumbed down to it, just elementary words, just a few words, okay? It's like, no.
I completely deny your definition, and I reject your definition.
I don't even understand your definition.
Okay. Well, the only. Okay. Well, let me just say this: the only ground someone will have to reject a definition is to say that there is some sort of a contradiction.
What if? Hold on.
What is this? The cafeteria table in ninth grade at lunch hour?
Please. What if I simply don't know?
Right. That's what we're talking.
Exactly.
Jim looks like he's about ready to have a heart attack.
Probably already had a few.
Jim, Jay, did you have a Jim Big Mac Barrows like doll that you were sticking needles in,
I thought nobody knew.
Okay, like a voodoo doll? I mean, look at him. He's about ready to have a stroke.
Exactly.
So
are you denying that that's a possibility?
So there's a number of. Go ahead. Answer Jenna's question. I'm sorry.
Are you denying that I can say I don't know?
Yes, if we're defining God as that which is the fundamental, necessary cause and grounds of all.
So I can say I don't know.
You see that she just cuts him right off before he gets done.
About anything except something that has to do with God.
Maybe she didn't take her psych meds today. Okay.
No, I mean, you can label it God, but all I'm doing is defining a term and what it entails. So,
right, and I reject your definition.
That would follow from.
I reject your definition. Okay, no, I reject your definition. Now, did he explain on what grounds? I do not accept your definition.
And by the way, I don't want to spoil too much, but he had a
no spoilers here because we're having fun so far.
When
no
people
spoilers,
do this,
right?
They're the equivalent of a little kid just putting their fingers in their ears and saying, "I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you."
La 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 la.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No spoilers because so far this is really good. We started this and we were having a good time, and then I had to go to dinner, and we just started a little while ago, and I sent out an at everyone. Okay, so but Jim Majors, he sounds a little bit like Dr. Phil, but I like Jim because he's so easily frustrated.
There are three conditions. So what?
I define God as a giant bowl of spaghetti. Who cares? I define God as a giant bowl of spaghetti. Where are we now?
We have to work with the definition I provided you.
See, he's just not getting it. That the definition you're giving is God is defined as the ontological starting point for other facts. But he doesn't want to hear any of this at all, right? He doesn't. He's not. He's just. People are so dumb.
That's what we're
Why?
I am working. I'm rejecting your
Oh, wait, no,
definition,
I'm sorry.
and I'm
that.
substituting my definition that God is a bowl of spaghetti.
A rejection of a definition. The only thing you could reject to is some sort of incoherence. And what I mean by incoherence is that there is a contradiction, or the term I'm defining.
No, I can
No, I can reject it. I didn't get my delivery of my Big Mac, so I can reject it anytime I want.
Because see, here's the problem. Definitions are usages, right? And so you're using in a God the term God in a way that I absolutely reject. I don't define God that way.
No problem,
So
Sherlock. Definitions are usages.
Okay, now
if you want to see how I'm using the definition,
now
you listen to it and let's unpack it, you retard.
Now I'm hoping. Okay, I'm not trying to put you in a bad light here, Jay. All right, but Jay, I'm hoping that you nail him saying, "Well, what was the definition that I gave that you reject?" Okay, let's see.
But where are we?
Well, we're engaging in a thought experiment right now. So unless you don't want to engage in a thought experiment, that would be something else.
I'm engaging in your. I am engaging in your thought experiment.
Yeah, I'm being argumentative. You know, I'm just being uncooperative and just just interrupting you with my host Jenna Belch. You know, this is a call-in show, so you can start talking. We just start over talking, and I reject that. I don't accept that.
I mean, imagine you were talking to someone and you said to them, I want to talk about if there's milk in the refrigerator, and the refrigerator is that thing and it's cold, and they say, I reject that definition.
Right.
Well, they're just refusing to talk to you then. They're just saying, I won't talk to you.
This is what I keep on saying all the time. These atheists are teenagers trapped in adult bodies.
That in this thought experiment, the variable that I'm controlling is your definition of God. And I'm saying that my definition of God is it's a giant bowl of spaghetti. Where do we stand?
I mean, this is patently absurd. I mean, it can't get any more absurd than it. Why are you defining God when you in his everyday life? Okay, when he talks about God, does he actually define God in his head as a giant bowl of spaghetti?
Yeah, he's just being stupid. What does this guy say? Does he say is he the type of guy who says he lacks belief in all God concepts?
Yeah, he's one of those.
Well,
yeah, he's trying to maintain neutrality.
This is one that Darth does. He says, well, do you lack belief in all God concepts? And he says, yeah. He says, well, you're going to have to talk about the God concept I'm presenting then. Okay.
I mean, all he's just being is cantankerous and being a contrarian for no reason. It's just to dodge, delay, and stalemate because he knows that you're approaching this from an intelligent, intellectual fashion, and he doesn't want to get into it. Right? It's that simple.
I'm specifically responding to the fact that if we're defining God as that which is the necessary personal cause and grounds of reality, you cannot be neutral to it. If we're defining God as a bowl of spaghetti,
yes, I can be. I can be because I don't care because I'm rejecting your definition. But I'm rejecting your definition on the fact that I don't agree with it.
Oh my God, my head wants to explode right now. This guy is an imbecile. He really is. All you're just simply saying is God is defined as the ground of all being, right? What reason does he have to reject the definition that you are giving it when you talk about God? You say, okay, I'm going to use the word God, and here's what I mean by that. Well, I reject what you mean by that. Well, why?
You can't use the word God, man. It's just such a trigger for these people. You got to just say entity or being or something like this, right?
Right. That's what I have to do later on, and then they couldn't escape from it.
Yeah.
Oh God, this guy. I've never really seen this guy respond to people. I mean, I've seen him, but I've never really listened to him. This guy makes Matt de l'Obliviator look like a scholar. Wow, this guy is a train wreck.
Right, you need to prove your claim that God is your definition. That
you need to prove that your God is your definition. I mean, this is complete. He's a complete imbecile. Okay, when you give a definition, you don't have to prove it. You're just trying to explain what the word God means when you use it. Then later on, if you agree to the definition, then we can talk about whether God can be grounded or not. You have to prove your definition. I mean, do you know that some of the teenagers that we talk to on Discord are not this stupid?
He was just desperate.
Oh my!
Wow. This is where you see an army coming across the pass heading for your city, and you're like, oh, I better just stop them up in the pass before they get down on the plains, you know. So this is not that he intellectually knows what's coming, but he knows it's going to be bad, whatever it is, you know.
And he told me that he would never debate me because I am intellectually dishonest.
On what grounds?
Well, I think that's precisely what he is demonstrating, that he is intellectually dishonest.
Oh my gosh. It just blows me away that somebody can be this bad. I mean,
definition is true.
Okay.
Right.
No, he's not asking you to accept the definition is ontologically true. We're just saying when I use the word God, God is the precondition of all facts. That's how I'm defining it. Not asking you to accept that God exists. We're just saying that when this concept is presented as defined, you can't be neutral toward this. Oh my God, this guy! Wow.
I go to a dictionary and look up God and find a whole different definition and common usage of the word God, and you're not using it in that frame.
So what? Why can't he use? You see, this is what they do. All right, I can go to the dictionary. How about this? I can go to dozens of reference works that say atheism is the denial of God. Is he going to go by that definition? I mean, do you see the hypocrisy here? He's appealing to the dictionary definition. Okay, how about all the dictionary definitions, encyclopedias, and dictionaries and encyclopedias of philosophy that all define God as the denial of God? How about that? Well, hold on. I got to take a bite of my Big Mac.
So you don't get to just say, hey, I can't do that.
Let's remove the word God. Let's just say you cannot be neutral towards a being that is the fundamental personal cause and grounds of all temporal states of affairs.
Until you can prove.
You know what? Look, this is completely going over his head. He's an imbecile. He's not understanding the line of reasoning.
I disagree. I disagree. I don't even think there's anything to go over his head, Darth, because he's not letting the reasoning even progress. He's just trying to stop it in the past before it even gets to a point of significance.
I mean,
nothing to even go over his head.
He could have said, "Okay, I'm going with your definition. I just think there is no evidence for it." That would be logical.
No, all Jay is trying to do is saying, look, here's a concept. And there is some concepts that you can be neutral for, but there's a narrower range of concepts that you can't be neutral for. Because he's philosophically retarded, right? He doesn't realize that there are some things that you cannot be neutral toward, okay?
Well, he hasn't gotten into that. J. Robin hasn't even been able to get into
I know. He won't let it. He won't even let it progress there. This is their shtick. This is what's in their little bag of tricks. It is simply to be argumentative about anything.
Prove this being exists. I can say I don't know. Until you can prove your being exists, I don't know is a perfectly good.
Yeah, it's perfectly good for some things. How about this? Can somebody be truly neutral that something exists? Somebody says, I don't know that something exists. Right? Can you be neutral about whether you're dead or alive? I don't know whether I'm dead or alive. Can you be neutral toward that? Right?
Is she pregnant? Oh, I don't know. Maybe she is, maybe she's not, maybe a little bit.
Well, no. You can be neutral about that. Okay, you can just say I'm non-committal. Can you be non-committal about whether you're dead or alive? Can you be non-committal that something exists? Okay,
you can't be non-committal about whether you're non-committal either.
Can you be non-committal that the two of you are communicating? Can you be non-committal that one or both of you are attempting to reason? Can you be non-committal about that? I mean, this guy's a moron.
Good answer. Just like I don't know if there's an even number or odd number of cards.
Yeah, that's fine. That works for cards. But if something is of a transcendental nature, then you can't be neutral about it.
In my hand. It's the same thing.
Now I'm going to explain to you why.
Don't you understand how desperate all of these atheists are? If they, how should I put this? If they don't defend this point about the universality of neutrality toward all propositions, and if they acknowledge that you can't be neutral about God, then they're going to have to either affirm or deny God. They don't.
Then they're going to have to fight you on the battlefield, and that's not going to.
Yeah, then they're going to.
Because they have no army.
Yeah, that's right. This is.
Their fortress is gonna be besieged, but unfortunately, all it's composed of is speculations raised up against the knowledge of God.
Right. So this is why they have to so vociferously defend neutrality toward God, because look, this clown, okay, actually believes that God doesn't exist. So does she. They don't believe God exists, but they can't defend it. So they have to, with their dying breath, they have to say, I'm non-committal. Now, does anybody believe they selected the word atheist to represent themselves, and they're fence-sitting about whether God does or does not exist? Okay.
I'd like to point out something else, and that is that in order to reason with someone, that you have to have both people on board. If one person is committed to not reasoning with you about things, or that they're committed to obscuring the truth or preventing any lines of reasoning from occurring, you're not going to be able to be successful. They'll just stalemate it continuously. All you can do is just point out what they're doing, point out what they're doing, and end the conversation.
Would everybody send out an invite so we can get more people in here? Because the more people that are in here, the more people will see there's more people in here, and then they'll come in.
To you why that's not the case, and if you have a rebuttal, I would love to hear it. Okay.
Okay. We'll listen.
Rebuttal is
we will listen.
Philosophy.
We will listen.
Okay. Now I asked you this question before, but I'm going to ask again. So when you speak, when you invoke facts, okay, do you reference this being? Do you acknowledge?
I think we need to just start. Well, one tactic we could use is simply making an assertion. Say you assert facts without referencing God. Therefore, God can't exist in that world where you assert facts. So you deny the existence of God implicitly.
Yeah, that's what you.
Simply
this is
assert
what
it.
we. Yeah, I know you're right. That's a very good point.
Because going to questions. See, the Socratic method's only effective with people who actually want to follow the lines of reasoning. If they, I noticed this with Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson does the Socratic method sometimes, but sometimes it's completely ineffective. And he doesn't quite do it because it's more like loaded questions. But sometimes it completely fails when his opponent has no interest in answering the questions at all.
You're precisely right. Yeah. And that's what you are right. Then we have to go when they, then you have to go to assertions.
Yep.
Acknowledge it for the fact's intelligibility. No, you do not.
No.
Okay.
I don't reference anything but the fact
It
itself.
logically and necessarily follows from that. Right. Now, it logically and necessarily follows that your position holds to the falsity of this being. Okay.
What does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean?
No.
Hold on.
No.
Your position.
See,
No,
like a child.
no.
Right.
No,
exactly like a child.
No.
I'm just imagining this guy thinking
I don't reference
in the back
anything.
of his head, uh-oh.
You know, this is exactly what happened with my nephew like a few months ago. I said something to him that he didn't like, and he didn't, it was something rational, and he was like, no.
Yes.
Like a child, right? No rebuttal, no asking why, right? No asking for an explanation, just an instant denial.
Well,
like a
I know
verbalization.
we're
That's what I
being.
had to constantly say. Like I'm telling them, if you have a problem with the line of reasoning, give a rebuttal, but you have to first listen to the line of reasoning before you can give a rebuttal, before you just cutting off.
No.
Well,
exactly.
No.
It's sort of like
No.
It's sort of like children, where they think that they can, by the power of their will alone, overcome logical entanglements, right? Just by the power of their will.
Look, I know we're being hard on him, and I think we should be a little bit empathetic. He's probably in a bad mood because the
He
Grubhub
didn't get that Big Mac.
The Grubhub actually did not deliver his Big Mac and fries, on time. So
it delivered it, but it didn't give the extra cheese and extra patty that he wanted.
Okay.
It wasn't super.
Okay. That explains why he's cranky. It's kind of like the commercial where the famous person eats the candy bar and then they get restored. Remember the Snickers commercial?
Yeah, he needs a triple Mac sauce Big Mac.
Yeah. Well, hey, I know. How about this? How about what we'll do is we'll find out what Jim Big Mac's residential address is, and a half an hour or 45 minutes before you call in, we could have a delivery of either, McDonald's cheeseburger, French fries, or some Snickers bar, and he'll be much more conciliatory. What do you think?
No, wait a minute. If you're going to send a Snickers bar, it has to be wrapped in a letter that says, "You're not you when you're hungry."
Hey, you better not just send one to this guy's address.
You're not Jim Big Mac Barrows when you're hungry. No.
It's anything but the fact
it
that
logically and necessarily follows from that. Right. Now, it logically and necessarily follows that your position holds to the falsity of this being. Okay.
What does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean?
No.
You know what you should have done, J. Robin?
No.
Is every time he says no, you just say yes, right? Because he's always not interested. He says no, you say yes. No, yes. No, yes.
By the way, you should listen to after you do this, you should listen to the last call. It's only about like 90 seconds long. It's hilarious. I won't reveal much about it.
Okay, no spoil it. No, this is as hilarious as it is. This is fantastic.
This is like when you show a garlic to a vampire, right? It's like, no. You're showing, hey, J. Robin, you're lifting up a crucifix in front of a vampire's face. He's like, no.
If anybody has seen the SpongeBob cartoon, there's a gag sometimes that happens in it where this dude goes, "My eyes."
Oh God!
That's what
My legs.
I am a new fan of Jim Big Mac Barrows. This guy is the gift that keeps on giving.
He doesn't want to see the truth. Too much logic.
No, but he's just so much fun. I mean, come on, let's face it. Isn't it? Even though you hope nobody gets hurt, isn't it interesting to see the wreckage after a car crash as long as somebody's hurt, right?
Yeah.
You just wow, look at that. Look at that crash.
Did I hear the woman ask why or how it follows?
Let's see. Okay, I'll reload it. Okay, here we go.
She said she didn't know what it meant. She's like, I don't know what that means.
Well, not to be mean, but Jenna Belch is not the sharpest tack in the box.
Yeah, but
I've listened
even
to her
if she
before.
just asked why or how it followed or something, that would make her, a step above Big Mac.
Oh gosh. Hold on a second.
Yo, what's up, Darth? This is my new account. It's MKO.
Okay.
Yo, add me back, bro.
Or add you back, bro? Add you to what?
Oh no, just on my friends list. My account got deleted.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Did you get banned by Discord?
So when you speak, when you invoke facts, okay, do you reference this being? Do you acknowledge it for the fact's intelligibility? No.
So then if you don't reference it, then you're not neutral to it. You're denying it because that being is not necessitated.
You do not.
No.
Okay.
I don't reference anything but the fact
it's logically and necessarily.
Did you hear that? Let me play that back. He only references the facts themselves. So those facts simply exist independently of its. These facts exist independently without reference to anything fundamental.
That's precisely what we're asking him. Like,
see, that's not even
the facts themselves. Okay, what facts? What do they connect to ultimately? That's what we're asking you about.
Either you believe that facts are dependent and derivational on what is fundamental, or the facts are independent of what's fundamental. But then again, it couldn't be fundamental, could it?
Well, then you couldn't have facts.
You acknowledge it for the fact's intelligibility. No, you do not.
No.
Okay.
I don't reference anything but the fact
it's logically and necessarily.
So I don't reference anything but the facts themselves. So,
which is a weird thing to say, since it doesn't even make sense to say that. But
look, he's not even looking at a screen. He's looking off in the other direction. He's like a pissed off child who's sitting in the principal's office.
He might have two screens.
He might be getting help. He might be getting help from Jack Angstreich over on that.
He references the facts.
He's actually looking at a screen. I think he's looking away from the screen because he's disgusted.
Actually, you know what I think? I think he's got a Happy Meal, a Big Mac meal sitting over there. He's eyeballing it.
I don't know. All I know is he's not one happy camper, but maybe his Happy Meal didn't come.
Now, it logically and necessarily follows that your position holds to the falsity of this.
I know what happened. He called Grubhub. He ordered a Big Mac, right? But they delivered a Burger King Angry Burger.
Those are delicious, by the way.
Yeah, I've never had one.
The only thing that would make me more frustrated than looking at this is if he ended up getting like the toy car in this Happy Meal, and I got the bogus Lego.
This being, okay?
What does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean?
No.
Hold on.
No.
Why do you doing contingent and necessary?
Why do you?
Are you going down the path of contingent and necessary being? Are you going down that path? Is that where you're trying to go?
No, I'm not going down contingent. We're defining the term, and I don't want to use God because of course.
I don't.
No, because God is a giant bowl of spaghetti.
I don't care what the term is. Here, I can reference a fact that is isolated.
The trigger word, yes.
Yeah, the trigger word, God.
Evidence and never ever reference God, and that does not deny anything about any definition of God you care to name. Period. End of conversation. Full stop. It just doesn't.
All right. Okay.
What?
Look at him. Look at him. He's
what's his rebuttal?
Oh, he's out of breath.
He's upset.
He's out of breath.
He's upset with Robin. Okay, I can see if I called in and he was upset with me, but he's being upset with Robin. Look at him. He's having a mini temper tantrum.
I hope you ask him to sustain that assertion, Robin. I hope you ask him what's the rebuttal so you can sustain that assertion.
I want to use
The thing is, I have to be extremely focused with these people, because otherwise they're just going to go ahead and just.
I told you. Remember, I told you that last week. I go, when you call in, you got to be focused like a laser beam, and you have to keep all of your words. And by the way, I say this because of my own analysis and my own mistakes. Like the last time, or when I called in Talk Heathens on One, I keep forgetting that I'm not in a Discord hangout where I have loads of time to unpack things and educate people. Okay, they're not about to let you educate them, even in their ignorance. So we've got everything has to be circumspect, truncated, just a very few words, so it doesn't allow them any more leeway than they're going to steal to go down rabbit trails.
I don't care what the term is.
Notice how he thinks that he can rebut what J. Robin said purely with like vigor and rage. Solely on that. No
That is isolated based on its own evidence and never ever reference God, and that does not deny anything about any definition of God you care to name.
Of course it does. He's a complete imbecile. If God is, and by the way, if God is defined as the precondition of all facts, and you say facts are self-existent and independent, that would deny and contradict that definition of God. This is what an imbecile he is.
Another way to put it is that you could say God cannot exist in a world in which facts don't reference him.
Yeah,
right.
He just said any definition of God, believing in the independence. Listen, this is how dumb he is. Right? He just said that he could invoke in independent facts. Facts would exist independently of anything external to itself, and it wouldn't contradict any definition of God. He's an imbecile.
I can reference a fact that is isolated based on its own evidence and never ever reference God, and that does not deny anything about any definition of God you care to.
Okay, he's a complete idiot. Did you hear that? He's a complete moron.
Well, he doesn't eat. The problem is he doesn't even want to engage in the definition that I provided, even though his atheism is a denial of all definitions of God, which is just the fundamental irony of all this.
No, he just said it wouldn't contradict any definition of God. That's entirely false, because we could define that God, as we do, is the source of all facts. But if you define a fact as not having any source at all, then it would contradict God as the basis and source of all facts. This guy is a moron.
Conversation, full stop. It just doesn't.
You basically have to you know when like a cow won't eat or something, you gotta get a rubber glove on and like just like force feed it down their throat. It's almost like you have to force feed the definition of God down their throat. You know, you have to force.
If it was a Big Mac, if it was a Big Mac, you know, if it was a Big Mac, you wouldn't have to force feed them.
Yeah, you should have said that, J. Robin. I bet if this definition was a Big Mac, he'd swallow it.
Yeah, this guy is making Matt Delabloviator look like a genius. You know.
Okay. I want to focus on the term or the concept that I'm presenting to you. The concept I'm presenting to you is a being that is defined as that which is the personal, necessary cause and grounds of all. I'm defining something. A definition is not a claim that it exists. Do you understand that?
Yes, you're claiming that this being exists.
That's the question. Yes.
No, it's a definite. You see how grotesquely immature and lacking in critical thinking skills? All he's just simply saying is if God is defined in a certain way, that you, in certain situations, you could be neutral toward him, but if God is defined in certain narrow ways, then you couldn't be neutral toward him. And he's saying, prove it. What he's talking about is he's trying to say, prove it, meaning God exists. He's the guy is an imbecile.
Yes, no,
and then you're going to assign a name to it and call it a definition. So what I want you to do is prove that you're God. Prove that this.
Yeah, he's not even talking about just being persuaded of the definition. He's trying to go beyond the definition and tell him to prove the entity behind the definition.
I do applaud J. Robin for not going down this bait with him, because as long as he's holding that he can be neutral, it doesn't matter what you say. He'll just say, well, you know, I'm just not persuaded, you know, but I'm not denying it, so I have no burden here.
Wow, this guy, I'm even shocked at what an imbecile this guy is.
If you look if you look, hold on a minute. If you look at the notes, I'm sure your call screen has put this up. My claim, it has nothing to do with whether or not God exists. What I put on the notes, and I'm being truthful here, so I didn't lie on the notes. The note there is whether or not you are a soft or a hard atheist. That is what the note says. You can read it in front of you. Okay, so yes, it has nothing to do with me. I'm simply.
I don't care what you say. No, wrong, no.
Analyzing your position, and if you don't like the fact that your position is being analyzed, I would advise you not to.
I haven't heard a single thing that is analyzed. I haven't heard you do a single thing to analyze whether or not we're hard atheists or soft atheists. You have been trying to define God from the jump. You have failed to do so, and you need to define how you're being.
How has he failed to define God?
Yeah, it's just these. And the thing is, if he asked that, it would just go down a never-ending rabbit hole.
You didn't fail to define God. He just simply said, he's just basically communicating whatever definition you give for God, okay, I'm not going to accept it. So when he says you have failed to define God, all that just simply means is I'm falsely accusing you because I'm not going to accept any definition of God that you give.
Yeah, he just said that he's just saying that he doesn't want to hear it, and then run on the fact that he doesn't want to hear it as a failure to define it.
Right.
That doesn't get any more.
If J. Robin said that God is a purple tennis ball, okay? Jim Big Mac Barrows not accepting that definition does not logically entail that J. Robbins has failed to define God as a purple tennis ball. I
don't think it's an issue of just not wanting to hear the definition. I don't think he wants to hear J. Robbins speak at all.
This is like a little kid who for breakfast wants candy, and his mom gives him some vegetables, and he says, "You have failed to provide me with breakfast, mother." Right?
I mean, I cannot believe what a moron this guy is.
Being exists before
it's
you
like
go any further.
every time we deal with a stupid atheist, the bar just gets lower and lower and lower and lower.
He's not talking about the actual ontological existence of God. He's simply critiquing whether or not you can be neutral toward the concept of God, whether or not God exists. Okay?
You should have asked this guy if he knows someone on Discord named, what was that guy's name? Honesty?
Oh my God!
You should have asked him. He's like,
bring in the clowns! Bring in the clowns!
Did you hear that whole conversation with Honesty, Darth?
Oh, I was here.
Did you? Were you actually listening?
Yes.
I'm surprised you could restrain yourself from. Normally, you always jump in, you know.
Well, I almost got in there and saying, "Aren't I being good, keeping my mouth shut?" But I wanted to stay out of it.
It's a good thing you did. I mean, otherwise your face would be as bloodied as.
Oh my God! Well, didn't you hear me? Did you hear me toward the end playing "Bring in the Clowns" by Frank Sinatra and Judy Collins and Barbra Streisand?
Part of it.
I was listening the whole time.
I mean, it was actually kind of interesting in a way. It's a lesson, you know, it's a sort of lesson into people's minds. You know what I mean?
Their chosen irrationality.
A microcosm for the incoherence of atheism.
Yeah. It's like an ant farm, you know. You're like, what's going on? So we're getting a slice of life.
Oh gosh, this guy is just a train wreck.
Just defining him into existence.
That's not what.
You know, I think it was Aristotle who
said, my God!
It's the mark of an intelligent mind to entertain a concept without accepting that it's actually true. This guy fails.
I mean, you're not defining God into existence. You're just saying, here's a definition of God, all right? And when you say that you're unconvinced, okay, that you're neutral toward this concept, all you're just simply explaining is you can't be neutral toward this concept whether or not the concept actually exists. This guy is just not getting it. They have a one-track mind.
Is absolutely ridiculous because I can define anything into existence by that logic. I can define a unicorn. I can define the flying spaghetti monster. I can define fairies into existence by.
Well, you know what? He's not on the cutting edge here because he didn't mention leprechauns.
Just simply going, this is my definition of
concept.
What?
Why is it this difficult to describe a concept? This is ridiculous.
Well, if this was something innocuous, like what was my monster before? The Rice Krispie man. Suppose you went up to someone and started describing the Rice Krispie man without telling them that it was about God. They would have no problem accepting these concepts. But the second it's about anything to do with God, it's triggering. Their motivated reasoning comes into it.
Tell me this guy is not, tell me that he's not coming across like a defiant ADD kid who didn't get his morning Adderall, right? Trapped in an adult body.
I would actually bet you money if you started talking to an atheist and you didn't question them about their atheism and they didn't know you were even going to talk about it, and you described to them this concept of the Rice Krispie monster like I did with honesty, and how he's defined. I bet they would have no problem accepting that they're denying the existence of the Rice Krispie man.
You know what this guy, that type of guy sounds like to me? He sounds like the type of guy that's hearing like J. Robbins' voice, and he's like picturing him as a Chad, and he's like the bully kid who's now a grown adult trying to vicariously get back at him by controlling everything.
Oh gosh! Wow! I mean, just when these atheists, you think that they can't get any more childish. It's just that then they show you a new routine.
You can't do anything about it. Yeah.
And lower and lower.
They just literally say yeah.
Yes. Yeah, here, I'll play it again.
Spaghetti monster. I can define fairies into existence by just simply going, this is my definition of fairy, and you can't do anything about it. Yeah. Well, you're wrong.
No, because I didn't say that. I didn't say that it exists. And for the fifth time, I'm going to say that a definition and a claim are two different things. I can define.
Okay, so
Superman.
I can define.
You see how he's cutting up? You see, this is what they do. They railroad you. They overtalk. They're rude.
I can define you.
J. Robin, you thought he paused there so you could talk. He was actually just pausing so his mind could whirl up some more stuff to say. He's pausing to take a breath.
Yeah, it's just reloading the machine gun. That's what he's doing.
He was taking a breath. He was thinking about Big Macs, and then he was gonna blast some more out at you.
He's just reloading. He's reloading that roll of no's. No.
You know what you could do is when this starts happening, you could be like, "Are you pausing so I can talk, or are you just reloading?"
As being nothing but a troll. I can define you as a troll. You're a troll, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? Right?
Okay.
Nothing you can argue against. I'm not making a claim.
Wow. This guy is as dumb as he. Listen, this guy is as dumb as he is wide.
Okay.
He's not ascribing.
No way. If the word troll.
I sure hope that's a diet soda.
Troll has a definition. Okay.
God has a definition you're not using. Troll has a definition I'm not using.
Calling someone a troll is a very highly subjective. It's a very highly subjective term.
All
and this,
definitions
again, is
are subjective.
All
definitions are subjective.
Hold on.
You can take this, Jenna.
Wait a minute.
He said highly subjective. Okay. I mean, I'm dumbfounded at. I'm almost speechless. I'm just dumbfounded. I mean, this guy is a talking head. I'm just dumbfounded at his infantileness.
What's happening here is basically you're not using my definition of God, and we're not moving forward until you do.
Well, he could define J. Robin as a troll, but then he wouldn't be using troll in the traditional sense. It would mean like a gentleman and a scholar, right? It would no longer mean what we typically view it as meaning.
Oh my. Woo.
Yeah, well, now from this point on, he's gonna pass the baton on to Jenna.
Let's
okay. Yeah, maybe then. Okay, go ahead.
Let's try this breather one more time. And I just we defined atheist and we defined soft atheist. No, actually, we didn't even define those. I just told you what I believe. What am I? Am I a soft atheist or hard atheist, according to you?
Well, the thing I came here to call for was that if we were going to conceive of God as that which is the
answer my question?
I'm perfectly aware that there are multiple. Okay, if we're going to conceive of God as that which is the personal, necessary cause and ground.
I don't. So can you answer my question, please? Please, Robin.
Okay.
I asked you. I gave you my definition of what I. Hold on. I explained to you what I believe when it comes to a God. Can you please tell me, according to your definitions of soft and hard atheists, which one I am?
Yeah, I would say that there is no such thing as a soft atheist. That there is.
So I'm not asking you about those. I'm asking you what is the definition of my belief?
Too many words, J. Robin. You said more than 2 words.
If
okay.
From this point of view, there is no such thing as a soft or a hard atheist, then your question's irrelevant, woman.
Your definition is an unbeliever, somebody who denies the existence of the God's concept, which I have defined.
The definition of your belief?
Yes. Am I an atheist?
Your belief? Yes.
Am I soft or hard?
That's what I'm trying to explain.
No, I'm asking you. Or am I soft or hard?
That which is, yeah, you would be hard in the context of God being the necessary precondition of all temporal states of affairs.
So because I'm not convinced that God is necessary, that means that I'm a hard atheist?
Pause, Darth. Does anybody notice just how smooth that was and how excellent? Man, that was so excellent for him to turn right back to the original subject and answer her question at the same time. Dude, that was magnificent, man.
That was good.
He did concede on her definition, but she was going to stonewall him until he did.
I think that's something else we got to get good at too. Finding out certain ways to answer certain rapid traily questions and like taking it right back to the main point. We got to get good at that too.
Yeah. That's why in that other call, I think in YNF Atheistic, I was like, can we both agree that reality is real?
I was just going to say, it's almost like you have to dispense with the word definition as well. You have to say, I'm describing a concept. Otherwise,
they just argue. They argue. They're like an ADD kid who didn't get his Ritalin. They argue about everything.
Yeah, if we're conceiving of God, again, as that which is... Again, this is what I'm saying. I recognize and I acknowledge that there are many different conceptions of God, which is why I'm simply positing a definition for the purpose of a thought experiment. And you guys are... I wouldn't say it's you, Jenna, but...
Yeah, well, Jay, you made the mistake of thinking that they had the mental capacity to exercise a thought experiment.
They have the mental capacity,
Jim...
Darth. It's just they don't want to.
Is just rejecting this definition because he doesn't like it. All I'm asking is for you to engage honestly in a thought experiment and to address the point I'm making, which is that if we're going to conceive of God as that which is the fundamental necessary personal cause, there is quote unquote agnosticism towards that. Okay.
So could I just be an agnostic?
Tree somewhere, then if we conceive of God as a tree or as a pancake, then sure. But
what if I conceive of God as like Mother Nature?
Yeah, then you can. Well, then Mother Nature that goes undefined. But if you're just going to conceive of the world,
no, I'm defining Mother Nature as the fundamental existence of all that is.
No, then no, you cannot be neutral towards that. If you're defining it the same way I am, and if you're defining it as that which is the...
You see him shaking his head? Watch, I'm going to play it back again, right? It's like he's having a mini convulsion, all right? I'm going to play it. Watch him shaking his head.
I guess you could
all that is.
Short-circuiting?
Yeah, watch. He's going to shake his head.
No, then no, you cannot be neutral towards that. If you're defining it the same way I am, and if you're defining it as that which is the foundation...
Malfunction.
But you can see you can see my voice was glitching after that. He probably caused some sort of an earthquake, mini earthquake, and then caused my voice to glitch.
Okay, you understand? Because this numbnuts, listen, this numbnuts made a universal declaration. He says we can be neutral about anything and everything. Okay,
so
now you're saying, yeah.
What exactly is he shaking his head at?
Because what Jay is saying completely is at odds with his stupid belief that you can be neutral toward every conceivable proposition. You can be neutral toward. This is what he thinks,
and
right?
he's also probably shaking his head that Jenna isn't blocking the conversation more. Yeah. That she's actually letting it move a little.
She actually
Jenna was actually cordial. Jenna was actually the more cordial one.
Patience and professionalism than that clown does.
Yeah,
it's usually the other way around. It's usually the male who has more patience than the female.
Look, Jay Robin, the next time you call in and speak with Jim Big Mac Barrels, make sure Grubhub makes its delivery on time. That way he won't be so cantankerous.
Hey,
foundational
Robin, tell him that having just a Big Mac or two every now and then is not actually a sin. Maybe that's why he's so unhappy. He thinks it's a sin to eat Big Macs.
All temporal states of affairs, and no, there's no neutrality towards that.
So you're making it up? I'm making it up.
We're dealing with concepts.
They don't have the foggiest idea whatsoever what you're talking about. These are the quintessential example of deer in the headlights, and yet they're talking heads like they have answers. These are two imbeciles.
I know, and I have made up this concept. Hold on, please work with me. I really think this is going somewhere. I explained my concept of what a god is. Actually, this is what I used to think a god was when I was on my little journey out of religion. I believed that my God was
No, what you should say is, no, I don't accept that. I don't accept that definition.
Personal, and that my God was Mother Nature. I'm curious how I could prove that, because I don't believe that anymore. So yes, I did believe that, but I found out that I don't believe that anymore. So I can't prove that it's not. I just
talking
don't
about proving anything. We're just talking about investigating intellectually what would be true in the case this thing existed or did not exist.
One thing you have to keep clear in mind: they are deeply emotionally committed to the idea that atheism is an autobiographical statement about their personal psychology of neutrality. They desperately, at all possible costs, want to evade that atheism is the denial of God, because then they know they can't defend it. If they felt in their minds, if they believed that they could defend the falsity of God, they would. But they can't defend the falsity of God. So what do? They just simply have to say that their atheism, which they know means the denial of God, is simply, we're unconvinced. They cannot grant you for even 1 nanosecond that they can't be neutral toward God, because then that means that they would have to defend what they really believe, right? It would destroy their whole little charade.
Don't believe it. Do you understand that?
Yes, but we're talking about something with a certain attribute set. So if the attribute set of what you call quote unquote Mother Nature is that it is the personal, fundamental cause and grounds of all temporal states of affairs, then there is no neutrality towards that. Okay.
Can you say that again slower?
Affirm or deny its existence.
Can you please say that again?
It is the personal. Yes. Mm-hmm. It is the personal, necessary cause and grounds of all temporal states of affairs. Now,
okay, I don't understand what that means.
That would qualify as that definition. Okay, so
sorry.
When I say personal, what I mean by that is that it has a mind, or that,
and all that, this, that, and the third, and they can't understand these simplistic terms he's used. He's put out.
Well,
or another thing is, maybe they would have understood. They wouldn't cut him off so dang much.
Because they have the mind of teenagers.
Or that it is a mind, meaning that it is self-aware.
Okay.
It has consciousness. and that
Okay.
it can relate to other minds. Okay?
Okay.
When I say that it is the necessary cause and grounds of all temporal states of affairs, I mean that it has created all things that began to exist.
Okay.
And it is the necessary cause for all things that began to exist.
All right.
Okay. Now, there is no neutrality towards this position, because once you assert that once you make the claim that you can assert and invoke facts without reference to this being, whatever it is, as long as it has a property set, then we're talking about the same thing. You could label it Mother Nature or whatever. But the point is, if you claim to be able to invoke facts.
You see Jim looking to his left there, on his right, our left?
I'm telling you, there's like a stack of Big Macs over there.
No. He's actually looking at another screen. Goose was right. He's actually at the Grubhub site.
Facts without references. If you believe that you live in a world where this being cannot coexist, therefore it logically and necessarily follows that your position holds to the falsity of such a being.
So, okay, so I think I see where you're going. You're saying that since I'm not convinced that there's a God, then that necessarily replaces kind of my world view with something other than what you're convinced the world is. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, it has nothing to do with what I conceive of the world. I could conceive of the world however I want to. The point is that when it comes to this concept, there is no neutrality towards this concept. And I would call it God, right? But because God would be defined as that in my worldview. But if that's not what you want to call it, that's fine. The property is all that matters. Okay.
So you're saying that you're either convinced that it exists or doesn't, correct? You're either convinced that it exists or you're not.
You either believe it exists or you believe it does not exist. That's what I would say.
What if
it just has to do with your certainty?
Okay, so can I explain something to you? Do you, and this is, please don't take this, I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm not sure how to word this in a nice way necessarily. But do you understand the difference between believing that something does not exist and not believing that something exists? Do you understand the difference between those two?
All she's simply trying to do is explain to them, I don't have a belief in God, which doesn't constitute that I believe that God does not exist. They're so craven. They're absolutely desperate, like heroin addicts for heroin, to maintain that their position cannot be on a surface level the denial of God, because then they have to defend it. So at all costs, they will try to maintain just that their position is incredulity.
Now notice, I don't think. I mean, she seems nice, but I don't think she has the great brains. Notice none of them have asked why you can't be neutral. That none of them asked
exactly
how it is. How it is. How does it follow that I can't be neutral towards it? Right.
Yeah, this is even I am amazed at the level of obtuseness on the part of these two. By the way, that's a pretty cool shirt that Jim has on. You know that color? I think that color is French fry tan.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm confused as to why you deny the not holding a belief all of a sudden when it comes to this worldview. Why does that not apply all of a sudden just because that's the topic?
Because the logical entailment is that this being does not exist. And when we're dealing with explicit claims versus logical and necessary entailments, we take the logical entailment over the explicit claim. So you could explicitly claim, and I could give multiple examples. For example, if I say that my explicit claim is that I took a pencil from somebody, and the person didn't give me permission or consent to take their pencil, but I did not steal the pencil, right? So my explicit claim is that I did not steal the pencil, okay? But the logical entailment is that I did steal the pencil. But we would take the logical and necessary entailment over the person's explicit claim. So they could tell me all day that they didn't steal the pencil. What revealed to me is that they did, because they're feeling about somebody's permission, right? So
you lost me.
We would take the logical entailment.
I'm so sorry.
Is it my imagination, or is Jim Big Mac Barrows, is his nose getting redder by the moment? Or is that just my imagination?
He's probably a heavy drinker.
You lost me. I don't understand.
Okay, well, the explicit claim in the atheist or agnostic position is that they are neutral, right?
Well, but atheists believe different things. Like some people are convinced that there is no God, and some people just don't know.
But
I'm
responding to you guys. I'm responding to I won't.
Yeah. See, notice. This. The vast majority of how many atheists does she know that will publicly declare that they know there's no God? How many atheists does she know that will publicly make that statement? So she's full of crap.
I won't use that generalization. I will say, responding to you maintain a position of neutrality.
I do personally, but that doesn't speak for all atheists.
Okay. See that? She I mean, this is how depraved and sick these people are.
Yeah, Robin, did you know she doesn't speak for all atheists? Did you know that?
That's just news to me.
So
she was the elected representative.
So she's neutral toward the existence of God. Good. Then why do you call yourself an atheist? Right? Why?
J. Robin's lucky to have gotten as far as he has, Darth. You can't ask that
question. I know.
Right.
Right.
That's true. So I'll just speak for you, or what you've told me so far.
Right.
So what you've told me is that your position is one of neutrality, or simply non-committal.
Man, this guy
okay. The point is,
you see what he's doing with his wrist there? He just wants this to be over so bad. He can't even stay composed.
So what you told me is that
because you don't understand, is because he doesn't have any atheist cliches, catchphrases, platitudes, or slogans to invoke. So he's got nothing. That's why he wants it over.
Your position is one of neutrality, or simply non-committal. Okay.
Correct.
The point is that your claims implicate you, and the logical necessity, or the logical and necessary entailment, is that there is no God in the world that you claim to live in.
I can see. So because I can see that, because I'm not convinced, simply because I lack that belief, that assumes that I live in a world that is different from what I did believe. Is that what you're getting at?
She still doesn't understand what you're saying. She truly doesn't get it.
You live in a world free of God.
Right. So I have to now go and do research on what this world is and how it came to be, without assuming that there's a mind who created the universe, correct? Because that's what I did believe.
What you need to do is falsify the notion of God, either by giving a logical necessity or showing what is fundamental and ultimate that is not God.
How can
defined as the personal absolute?
How can somebody falsify something, a claim like that? Because the thing is that we have a universe.
They cannot.
So we have hold on. Exactly.
Why is she holding to falsity?
Why?
Well, she's not. She's neutral. She's neutral.
But by the way, I was going to say this earlier, but the description, the definition J. Robin gave of God, there's nothing objectionable about it. Big Mac Barrows, it's ridiculous. Well, I mean, we all know it's ridiculous that he was objecting, but it's just a standard definition of God. Anyone who hears that would recognize that as like a standard Western idea of God, right?
Yeah, you just mentioned Jim Big Mac Barrows. Just for the sake of brevity, we could use the initials. We could just simply say Jim BM Barrows. Right?
Or BMB. The BMB.
Jim BM Barrows.
Why put us in a position where we have to make a claim when y'all are the ones that are telling us that you have all of this information about this creator who created the universe with this mind? And we're saying, well, can you describe it to us? Can you tell us?
She's still not getting this.
We could
none of those other properties are even necessary. All you need to know is that there's an eternal mind that's fundamental to all typical facts. That's all you need to know. Any extended
she's not getting it. She's just not getting it.
You could call him a big BM Barrows.
Oh gosh.
Tell us where to find it. Can you tell us how you know?
That's not what he's talking about. This is oh my God, these people are so stupid.
And so we found enough people that can't give us any answers that we can verify with other people,
now
right? Because if something
like an atheist,
this is the old look. This is the old atheist script, which we're just unpersuaded. We're unconvinced. We just don't know. We're unconvinced. I don't have enough information. I mean, this is so tiresome.
Something exists. Like this mouse exists, right? Like you can agree with me. You see it, right?
No, we don't agree with her.
It's a mouse. It exists. We can objectively agree that this is a computer mouse.
No. I define that thing in your hand as a giant bowl of spaghetti.
Oh, actually, what you could say, because they're doing.
I figured it out. I figured it out. Bowl of spaghetti.
You're just defining into existence.
Well, I saw they did this in another video, J. Robin, where they say we can both agree, and they give some fact. And I believe you pointed out that the facts are different.
That's right.
But here's the thing:
YFNA.
Is there? It's sort of a trap from a rhetorical perspective, because if you say no, we can't agree on, that this is a fact, they're going to say, what? You're so close-minded. I thought of a rhetorical way to go around it. What you say is, well, I'm not sure if we do agree. Let me tell you what I think that fact is, and then you tell me if we agree. And so then you say that mouse exists. That is a mouse that is derivative from laws of nature, and the laws of nature are derivative from the God who institutes and secures them. Do we agree on that fact? And they're going to have to say no. And you say, well, I guess we don't agree on what that mouse is then.
Right, exactly. That's
right.
Good.
So that's the kind of confidence that I would like to have in a religion if I believed in a God, especially if that religion.
Don't you see what she's doing is she's moving the topic back to their home turf again of their incredulity. That's not what you're talking about.
Requires that I give 10% of my income and every Sunday morning and volunteer for the mass and all these other things. It takes up so much of somebody's life that
what the hell is she even talking about? My head's about ready to explode with this stupidity.
I would think that you would have to be extremely convinced that this is real to give so much of your life to it. So while you're correct, I do have to assume
she doesn't even see how this reflects on her. It's like she's talking about herself. You'd have to be extremely convinced of this to give so much of your life to it.
She
doesn't even see how it's reflecting on her.
She is totally clueless here. Okay, she doesn't understand what you're talking about at all. Right?
I live in a world without a God because I'm not convinced that it exists. But that doesn't mean that I can't change my mind if I find more information.
See, it's like she's lecturing fifth graders here. She doesn't understand what you're saying at all.
Information, right? So I just have to go with what I have when I have it. You see what I'm saying?
Well, the position that's fine, but none of that, right? And I would say, okay, fine, but none of that would necessitate the claim that your worldview holds, which is that you live in a world free of God. Okay. The point is that if there is no neutrality, so both sides, I would agree, have the burden of proof. So
I don't understand that. I don't understand how somebody who's not convinced. So you tell me Santa Claus exists, and I say, you know what? I've done a little research.
Gosh.
Santa Claus, see, this is another category error, okay? Santa Claus is not defined as a transcendental necessity, okay? You see how obtuse she is?
I've looked into it. I'm not convinced. how is that me making a claim? How is that me having to prove that I went to this place and I went to that place, and how can I prove to you what's in my mind?
Well, because we're dealing with the logical entailment, not your explicit claim of neutrality. Not dealing with your claim of neutrality. We're dealing with the entailment of your position, which is all that's really relevant here.
I'm trying to grasp that concept that you're not. Hold on. You're not talking about my position. You're talking about what my position implies.
No, we're talking about your actual position, not just what
No,
you're
we're talking about.
I will say this about her. I do respect that she seems like she's trying to take the conversation more seriously than that Mr. Big Mac Clown.
Well, that's like comparing a mugger to a serial killer, right?
Yeah, the mugger's better. At least.
Be that dang messed
Yeah,
up.
the mugger's not killing you.
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly.
he's not killing people.
No,
at least listen. Hey, at least he's saying "Have a nice day" after he takes your money. It's not like he's killing you.
But really, can't you give her a little bit more credit that she's
No, because she
Please.
has a one-track mind. They all do. They are, come hell or high water, no pun intended, they are committed that they're neutral. Okay? Listen, Talmach, do you think for 1 second that she doesn't believe that God doesn't exist? She believes God doesn't exist, but she knows if they all know that if they express what they really believe, they have to defend it. So rather than be truthful about what they believe, that they believe that there is no God, they have to express it in terms of just saying, I'm unconvinced.
Look,
okay? This is deception.
I don't even disagree, but all I'm saying is that if she's not legitimately interested in this conversation, in my mind, she is putting on a very good act like she is. And that's all I'm saying.
Big barrel.
I didn't even look like he was trying to listen at all.
Well, like I said, that's like comparing a mugger to a serial killer.
Yeah, and big barrels is
what you're saying, what you're verbalizing, which is that you're neutral. That is not true if we take a look at what we're talking about. If we're talking about God as the personal necessary cause and grounds of all temporal states of affairs, okay, there is no neutrality towards that being. One will either affirm it or they will deny it, and this will be either an explicit or an implicit denial. Okay. So what I'm dealing with is how you rationally justify that.
I don't necessarily know that I can. But what does that mean for you? You know, say I can't prove that there's no God. Does that automatically imply that there is just because I can't prove it?
No, it does not.
So then I'm confused at what you're getting at then.
Well, part of the reason I'm calling is to show that the atheist position is not a rational position to hold to, as you've just conceded, because you just conceded that you cannot rationally justify the entailment of your worldview. If you cannot do that, then why do you hold to? Go ahead.
I necessarily. Jim, help me out here.
She doesn't listen, Jay.
Deer in the headlock.
Jay, she doesn't even have a clue. Listen, she has no clue whatsoever as to what you're talking about.
She doesn't even know how it's necessary.
I would disagree. No. I think she. No. Listen, I think she knows exactly what I'm saying, and this is why she asked Jim for help. Go this is. I think it was a moment of wait a minute. Okay, this is a very bad position.
She needs to bring in the big intellect to help her out.
I think you're being
what channel is this? Is this like Talk Heathen?
In all due respect, I disagree. I think she's a deer in the headlights, but we're each entitled to our own opinion.
I think either it's one of two things. It either hit her briefly and she's just short circuiting, or it's what Darth says and she's just totally lost. Period.
Yeah.
Wait. So like, what channel is this in? Like, is it in Talk Heathen, Atheist Experience? Because I don't.
Yeah, this is the Atheist Experience. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna check that. That you did good.
I'm not sure.
So,
oh my gosh, here comes Mr. French Fry.
Yeah, I mean, he's finally gotten to his point. And first, I reject your definition. So your entire little
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to my original talking points. I reject your definition. No.
At least with her, he was able to get to the point. With that clown, he wasn't able to get anywhere. Because I don't know what it was. The little fat was rolling off his neck, and it was just causing him to go blind. I don't know, dude.
Oh my gosh.
little thought experiment here goes completely down the drain. Second,
your little pop experiment goes completely down the drain. There it goes. Bye. See, I can see it. Bye. It's going down the drain.
We can always choose the neutral position, no matter what you say, because there's always a neutral position. Both.
He should. I'm just going to keep on repeating what I'm just going to repeat what I just said in the beginning, that we can be neutral toward everything. I can be neutral about whether I exist. I can be neutral about whether I'm dead or alive. Okay, I can be neutral.
Why does this guy sound like he's Boris's brother?
Okay. I can. You know what? You can be not only neutral about everything. You can be neutral about you being neutral. You know that? Am I neutral? I don't know. I'm unconvinced that I'm neutral. I'm actually neutral about the fact that I'm neutral. So if you say to me, well, hold on here. If you say to me, Jim Big Mac Barrows, am I neutral about the fact that I'm neutral? I'm going to say, I'm neutral about that. Yeah, I'm neutral about being neutral about me being neutral.
I'll tell you this, though. He's not neutral about those all beef patties and special sauce.
You see, you can be neutral about everything. So when I tell you that I'm neutral, I say, are you definitely neutral? Well, then I'm going to say to you, I'm neutral. I'm neutral about whether I'm neutral.
Yeah, just present the syllogism in the form of a Big Mac.
Now, do you see the absurdity of that position? Can you be neutral? Can you be neutral about your neutrality?
Yeah, present it in the form of a Big Mac, and he can't be neutral about it.
Okay. What if somebody says you're neutral and go, no, I'm not saying I am. I'm not saying I'm not neutral. I'm neutral about being neutral. You see how idiotic that is?
Both sides of a claim have to have evidence in order to support them, in order to accept either is true. This is simply the case. So I'm sorry, but we're right back.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to have a little quiet temper tantrum and just tell you we're neutral about everything.
Yeah, I've asserted some things, and that's just the end of it now, right?
Where we started from.
What you've done is just ignore. You've just ignored what you just demonstrated here.
You know what? Just go ahead and hang up.
That's the height of what's going on.
Just go ahead and hang up. Go ahead and hang up, please. Thank you. Have a nice day. Hope that
really shows how they're really not.
So he just hangs up on him.
And we'll take the next caller.
Okay, well, so that's interesting. I don't understand how a neutral position is a position that somebody has to assert. But I guess if somebody wants to explain that in the chat, we can do that.
No, I don't. No one can, because it's just it's a. So first of all, he starts off with the definition that he says we can't we don't need evidence for it. We just have to accept as true. I reject that, and then everything else builds off that.
Oh my God! I mean, this guy, his hair is down over his forehead. I'm wondering if he pulled that hair back, if there's a lobotomy scar.
That little thing of definition. And so once you reject the definition, everything else goes completely down the drain for him, because you can't really do anything else with it. And he can yell and scream about it all he wants, but I reject the definition. That is not the definition of God. That is not the common usage. And this is part of the
person that was yelling and
screaming. This guy makes Matt the Bloviator look sane.
Problem, right, is that what the dictionary shows is common usage, which is why words change definitions all the time, is because they change in usage. And so he wants to, and part of the problem is that while that is true,
right now he's saying absolutely nothing. He is rambling, borderline incoherently.
That's the start changing what his
he's borderline incoherent.
Usages are, you can prove anything, right? But the fact is that a rose by any other name is still a rose, and whether he wants to call it a god or a being or anything else is completely irrelevant.
I defy any of you to tell me what he just said in the last 45 seconds. No, I got to get up early tomorrow, so I'm going to be going to bed soon. Yeah, Jim Big Mac Barrows is a moron. By the way, did you get that Tom Rabbit?